Never as a team had this lead in the league history. Liverpool 22 points clear of Manchester City. That, of course, after City's defeat against Spurs yesterday, and Pep Guardiola seems to be taking it well. A strange old quote from him after the game, talking about the last 2 seasons. What he meant was like 2 seasons ago, it was an owner from the Premier League. Well, it was actually the chief executive, Richard Scudamore, that says that can't happen again. City winning the title that way with 100 points is not good for the Premier League. Now it's Liverpool. The owner has to be concerned again. It seems a strange thing to say after, of course, what has been a poor run for Manchester City. These cracks appearing for Pep Guardiola. What are we reading?
I don't think so, but he is, it is right. Richard Scudamore, who's no longer there, who did a great job for years, he is right in some sense. It's not good. It's not good this season. Yeah. It wasn't good when that happened. Last year it went all the way, 1 point separating the teams, the 2 at the top. I don't know how he's got. I don't know how the questioning got him round to that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know, but no, I don't think he is. To be honest, I'm quite bullish about Man City. I know that might sound strange after the weekend, but I think they themselves are shooting themselves in the foot at the moment.
But the boys were talking yesterday about how this is a mental issue, in the fact that they don't have the same sort of motivation going out there because they know that they've lost the title. So they're losing that edge. Yeah. The concern is going forward then how easy it is to rediscover that edge.
Well, we talked a lot about that with PSG over the years.
Yeah.
Because they'd won the league at a canter so easy, and then, you've got to almost pick your tools back up again and get going. There's definitely an edge gone out of them because of the situation in the league. However, I think the well-documented defensive problems are one of the reasons. And I think the other one is and by the way, is a great result for Spurs in the context of 3 points. But taking the decisions, the red card it should have been and all that away, it was embarrassing for long periods. City played some great stuff. I mean, Tottenham couldn't get a kick. The ball retention was horrible. We'll get to that later about Tottenham. But I think from City's perspective, I think there's an arrogance in the final third. Almost like a nonchalance of we're just going to create so many chances that they've become so careless in finishing teams off that they haven't. And I think that's been a big problem for them as well. I saw a lot during the first half of great stuff.
Yeah, but similar to what we saw with United, and that's the problem. This isn't a one-off for City.
No, it's not. And listen, to start the season, we all said, listen, if they were offered the league and the Champions League between City and Liverpool would prefer the league, City the Champions League. Ultimately, you feel that's where they'll be judged. But to your point, you don't play poorly for long patches and then turn it on for the Champions League, which I think is becoming the bigger concern for Manchester City. But we said this, we've been saying this about them for the last couple of weeks, just simply not ruthless.
But I don't think they played poorly, Shaq.
No, but
the final third was atrocious. I mean, you got Sergio Aguero scooping one past the post from, 2 yards? You got open goals at the other end.
But my point being, that's exactly what we've been seeing about them for the last 2 or 3 weeks. That their football's been good, but they lack that ruthlessness in front of goal, which you saw earlier on in the season, which you saw in previous seasons. And that, for me, is the most concerning aspect to all of this, because still, given their defensive problems, you're not going to bank on them keeping a clean sheet every single weekend.
What about this stuff after the game? Talking about Scudamore in Liverpool, is this distracting? Just look over here.
I tell you what this is. It's Mourinho-esque from Pep Guardiola. And once you go down that path, is essentially, you now know clearly, and he knows this better than everybody else, that the league is gone. And so you're trying to control the conversation and in some ways distract everybody else from what's going on with your clubs. And what I think are the shortcomings of his club. He can sense it. He sees a team that is lacking focus, and he knows that this is a team that at their very best can compete and beat anybody in Europe. And there's no question about that. Hence why they're still favorites in the Champions League. And everybody is sort of hoping and expecting and betting on their very best. But here's the thing. They better be at their very best when they play Real Madrid in a couple of weeks' time. Because the current version of Manchester City does not beat Real Madrid. The best version of Manchester City, okay. But that's not what we're seeing. And I think it's now taking a big leap to think that they're going to turn it around and be in their best when they need to against Real Madrid.
Here's the thing with
you have to trend in that direction. You can't just take that jump.
Here's the thing with that Scudamore comment. First of all, as a chief exec or anybody holding a high office within the Premier League to make that comment, I think is a little bit irresponsible. But, and listen, I don't remember when he said it. I don't remember how it was.
It was 2 seasons ago. It was in the context of money.
Right, but yeah, granted. But to the point, you can take that and interpret it, or maybe it was meant as a clarion call of sorts to the rest of the league, that you have to keep up with Manchester City. But for somebody like Pep Guardiola, given the successes he's had, given his experience, given the club he's currently with, to somehow turn that into a siege mentality moment, I find that beyond Manchester City, and I'm a little bit disappointed in Pep.
Frank, I'm intrigued to get your view on this focus point. Craig brought up PSG, and maybe that's affected them over the years in the Champions League. Mentally, how easy is it for a player to get back to 100% focus when it's like the Champions League on the line?
Well, it's a challenge. It's a goal. You try to think that, okay, we lost the league, but we can catch something. But it's the most competitive competition that you're going to face. And we know that many clubs want to win it every year, and only one's going to do. And it's very, very hard. And when you start doubting about your skills, the way you should play, Craig was saying about Sergio Aguero giving a bad pass, where normally they all give very good passes, you maybe lose something that you're going to pay cash after against bigger clubs. But I have to say that this comment is for me a right comment, where you say, yeah, it's true that if last year City won very easily the Championship, the Premier League, and if Liverpool wins the Premier League, it's a problem for the FA. Because why we love the Premier League is because 4 or 5 teams can fight to win it, where in France, clearly, Paris Saint-Germain is going to win every year, where it seems to be in Italy, Juventus winning all the time, Bayern Munich winning 9 times out of 10, where it's boring. It's you have maybe Real Madrid and Barcelona fighting with Atletico Madrid, but the Premier League is the most interesting league because many clubs can win, and it's not the case for the past 2 years. So it's a problem to be solved. Not by Scudamore because he's not there, but it's a concern. So, yeah, I can agree with what he said.
I mean, Leicester won it, Chelsea won it, City a couple of times, and then Liverpool are going to win it this year. Arsenal are out the hunt, as we know, at the moment, and Tottenham have floated around a few times. But I think the bigger issue, one of the bigger issues for me, and you don't want to see a team win the league like this, was when the English teams were getting tanked in Europe. For a period. I think that was almost more embarrassing for the brand than this scenario. But, you know, I don't know why he's irked about it, but I think it's, well, why are you not talking about Liverpool in the same terms you talked about us? Well, one, the chief executive's not there, so he's not going to be saying anything about this current Liverpool, and nobody else is probably going to come out and do it. I'll go back to the point. It was so embarrassing as a football match for quite a long period in that first half. That's why I don't think you can say, well, you can say they played badly. I mean, Tottenham couldn't get the ball. The bottom line here is we know they can't keep clean sheets. That will not go away. They're now going to have to mollycoddle and really wrap up the likes of Laporte and 1 or 2 others. And if they're even 10% doubt, they're not playing the league because he needs him for the Champions League. And when they get teams, and they could do it to Real Madrid, they could do it to Liverpool, they could do it to any team. They could create chances for fun. But metaphorically speaking, they're going to have to get the foot in the throat of these teams when they're in that position because they can't keep the door shut at the other end.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.